What's next for the US-Philippines Basing Agreement? That's what we're diving into today. For those of you who may not be familiar, let's start with a bit of background. Back in 2014, the United States and the Philippines signed what is known as the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA for short. This was no ordinary agreement. It laid the groundwork for a significant partnership between the two nations, especially in the realm of military cooperation. Under this agreement, the U.S. assumed a crucial role in funding the improvement and construction of facilities within Philippine military bases. From airstrip repairs at Naval Base Camilo Osayas, to the construction of a fuel storage facility and command center at Lao Airport, the U.S. has been instrumental in bolstering the military infrastructure of the Philippines. But it's not just about buildings and bases. The agreement also provides for the deployment of American troops on a rotational basis. In other words, U.S. soldiers are stationed in the Philippines for a certain period of time, then replaced by a new batch. This rotation ensures a continual American military presence in the region, a strategic move that holds significant implications, which we'll explore later in our discussion. From 2014 to 2023, the U.S. has spent $56.8 million on 14 projects under the EDCA. Meanwhile, the Philippine military has identified 34 construction projects for this fiscal year alone. Clearly the wheels are in motion and the momentum is building. The focus of the EDCA, according to the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, is on Philippine military modernization. However, experts suggest that preparations for an influx of refugees in the event of a war should also be considered. This gives us a broad overview of the agreement and its implications. But as with any international agreement, there's more to the story than just the headlines. There are controversies, concerns, and future considerations that need to be taken into account. Now let's delve into some of the specific projects underway. Several projects are currently in motion under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA as it's better known. This partnership between the United States and the Philippines has been the driving force for the upgrading and modernization of military bases in the region. The scope of these projects is broad, encompassing a range of infrastructural developments. Let's delve into some specifics. At Naval Base Camilo Osayas, for instance, airstrip repairs are underway. This project will facilitate smoother operations and enhance the base's strategic capabilities. Meanwhile, at Lao Airport, a fuel storage facility and a command center are under construction. These additions will not only increase the base's operational efficiency, but also bolster its capacity to respond swiftly to potential threats. The financial commitment to these projects is substantial. From 2014 to 2023, the United States has invested a significant $56.8 million in 14 diverse projects. This funding has been instrumental in the modernization of the Philippine military bases, a goal at the heart of the EDCA. But it's not just about what's been done, it's also about what lies ahead. In this fiscal year alone, the Philippine military has earmarked 34 construction projects for execution. This ambitious slate of developments represents the ongoing commitment of both nations to fortify their defense capabilities and reinforce their strategic partnership. However, the base locations have not been without controversy. The location of these bases has stirred up concerns on multiple fronts. China, a nation that has a significant influence on the geopolitical landscape, has raised eyebrows over the positioning of these bases. Their proximity to Taiwan, a region that has been a long-standing point of contention between the US and China, is a major point of concern. This unease is not unfounded, as these bases could potentially be used to support Taiwan in the event of a conflict with China, further intensifying the strained relations between these global powerhouses. On the home front, local opposition has been vocal, expressing apprehension about the potential for conflict with China. The fear is that these bases could act as a catalyst, escalating tensions and possibly leading to an unwanted confrontation. This is a valid concern, considering the history of territorial disputes in the South China Sea and the potential for these bases to be seen as a direct challenge to China's claims. Nevertheless, plans are already underway to fortify these bases. The goal is to counter China's claims in the South China Sea, a region fraught with territorial disputes. These fortifications are seen as a necessary measure to protect Philippine sovereignty and assert its rights in the region. However, it's crucial to remember that the main thrust of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, is on Philippine military modernization. The U.S. Indo-Pacific Command has emphasized this repeatedly. The U.S. has already spent $56.8 million on 14 projects from 2014 to 2023, and the Philippine military has identified 34 construction projects for this fiscal year alone. But is this the whole picture? While the focus is on modernization and fortification, some experts suggest that preparations for an influx of refugees in the event of a war should also be a consideration. But what is the main focus of the EDCA, and could there be more to consider? The primary focus of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, is on Philippine military modernization, according to the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. This initiative underscores the commitment of both nations to fortify the Philippine military, thereby enabling it to respond more effectively to potential threats and challenges. Modernization, in this context, is not limited to the acquisition of new equipment or technology alone. It also encompasses the improvement of military facilities, the construction of new infrastructures, and the enhancement of the Philippine Armed Forces' operational capabilities. For instance, projects such as airstrip repairs at Naval Base Camilo Osayas, and the construction of a fuel storage facility and command center at Lao Airport, are part of this modernization drive. While the focus on military modernization is clear and unequivocal, it is equally important to consider other potential scenarios that may arise from the evolving geopolitical landscape. One such scenario that experts have brought to the fore is the possibility of an influx of refugees in the event of a war. This is a critical consideration, especially given the strategic location of the Philippines and its proximity to potential conflict zones. Preparations for such an eventuality would necessitate the establishment of refugee camps, the provision of humanitarian aid, and the coordination of rescue and relief operations. Such measures would require significant resources and careful planning. However, it's crucial to note that these are not either-or propositions. The focus on military modernization does not preclude the need for preparations for a potential refugee crisis. Rather, these considerations should be viewed as complementary aspects of a comprehensive strategic approach that seeks to promote regional stability and security. This brings us to the question of what's next for the US-Philippines Basing Agreement. The future of the US-Philippines Basing Agreement is an evolving situation. As we've seen, the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, has led to a series of projects aimed at upgrading military bases in the Philippines. From airstrip repairs at Naval Base Camilo Osayas, to the construction of a fuel storage facility and command center at Lao Airport, the United States is actively investing in the modernization of these strategic locations. But with progress comes controversy. From China's concerns about the base's proximity to Taiwan to local opposition citing potential conflict, the road to modernization is not without its bumps and turns. Yet the focus remains clear: fortifying these bases to counter China's claims in the South China Sea. It's not just about military might though. There's a broader focus on Philippine military modernization, as stated by the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. But as experts suggest, preparations for an influx of refugees in the event of a war should also be considered. It's a multifaceted issue that requires a delicate balance of power, diplomacy, and foresight. As we move forward, it's important to keep an eye on this evolving situation. The US-Philippines Basing Agreement isn't just about two countries, it's about the balance of power in the Asia-Pacific region, the potential for conflict, and the future of global security. And now, it's your turn to join the conversation. What are your thoughts on the US-Philippines Basing Agreement? What do you see as the potential outcomes or challenges ahead? We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Please comment below, like this video, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful discussions.